New York teams, they just have a way of getting these guys when they're way too old and way past their prime.
Yep.
We do it all the time. You know the Yankees do it.
Oh, they're the
Jimmy
worst.
talks about that all the time. You get these great players that sound good, but then you start looking up their stats. They're 45 years old, and they're now batting .220.
It's because these owners have like these desires to have these great players, but then when the other teams are ready to let them go,
Yeah.
what does it tell you that they traded Favre?
Yeah.
They want Favre's a Hall of Fame, first ballot Hall of Fame player. They wanted him to retire at Green Bay Packer,
And they know him more than anybody would.
Well, but also, I mean, in all fairness, he retires, and then the team decided to just move on. And they moved on, and then you got Brett Favre saying, but I want to play another year, but they already got everything figured out for the new guy. I don't know.
Yeah, sorry.
I don't know the new guy's name yet. I'm sorry. But they have a lot of confidence in the new guy up there in Green Bay.
Yeah.
And now Brett wants to play again, so that kind of threw the organization into a little bit of a state of disarray.
Yeah.
So
Someone's suggesting Boomer Esiason.
we saw him eating steak a couple weeks back, right, Jimmy? That guy isn't playing football anytime soon.
No.
what a big skulled man!
Oh,
he's a giant of a
God.
man.
His head is. You would literally have to hit him with a Buick to knock him out.
Tell me about it.
Oh, that's right.
I punched him right in the forehead and broke my arm. Swear to God. Both bones, the ulna and the radius. Cracked them both, punching him in the head. Wasn't even like I broke my arm, like he grabbed it and twisted it and broke it. I punched him as hard as I could, and he put his head down a little bit, and I had to hit him right in the forehead and just crack. Look at my little Anthony bones.
Was that the end of the fight right there, or did he hit you, or that was it?
Oh, he beat the crap out of me after that. There I am now fighting him with a broken arm. I pretty much handicapped myself right at the beginning. Ooh, that hurt. Yeah. I got thrown a beating.
Let's say hi to Mike in New York.
Damn boomer.
Mikey.
Hey, what's up, Mo? What's up, man?
Hey,
Happy birthday, Jimmy.
Thanks. You got the crap beat out of you.
Totally. He was Biff Tannon. I was George Mcfly.
Hey, you gave it a shot, though. How many guys would even give it a shot?
Well, I had no choice.
You got
I was
right
gonna
in
run.
there.
I was going to run home, and everyone was waiting outside. It was one of those big build-up fights that everyone knew about. Classic, school ends, you go outside, everyone's waiting, he's there. Kept my jacket on so I'd have padding. Didn't matter. I threw the first punch. I thought, this is, what Dad taught me. Was get in there, throw that first punch. And I did, and snap, crackle, pop went my bones. And little Anthony bones. And then, bam, he punched me in the face and in the stomach, and I was laying on the ground. I think he kicked me a few times, called me names. I got up bloody and weeping.
You were crying?
Why wouldn't I cry? Cried at everything.
Yeah, that's
because I had a reason to. Boomer Esiason just pummeled me.
And you got a broken arm.
Yeah, and I got a broken arm to boot.
Threw you a good beating.
Oh, just a savage beating by a big-headed dope.
Dumb jock.
Big jock. It was just taking care of an emaciated little kid.
Was it your dad's influence that made you have to fight this guy?
No, it was. I couldn't leave. There were too many people around where if I left, they'd still be on me.
Yeah.
I took my beating, what are you going to do? I got one good punch in that broke my arm, but I hit him in his head. He laughed at it. At least he didn't do the ultimate degradation, which he used to do in cafeteria, which is just like put his butt right by your head and let one loose. He used to do that to everyone in the cafeteria. So me laying on the ground beat up, that would have been really degrading if you just,
When you hit him, did you do that move where you waited for a second to see if it did any damage?
Damage assessment.
And then he had the look on his face of a bit of shock.
Yep.
And then he just kind of wipes his mouth.
He didn't even wipe his mouth.
And then smiles like, look, it did nothing.
He put his head down. It was one of those things where I went to punch him in the mouth or the nose.
Yeah.
And he did a quick, bam, his head bobbed down really quick. and I clocked him in the forehead, and his head came back up, and then he just wailed me. Like, it was that fast. I didn't even know what happened. I'm like, I just knew I connected, so I was hoping, against all hope, that he would fall down. But no, I fell down.
What was the issue?
I called him Norman, which is his real name. Even back then in elementary school, he was known as Boomer. We never called him Norman. So I yelled Norman around the corner, and he didn't see who it was. But the second I turned around, one of his buddies was standing there looking at me with a smile on his face, and he was nodding. Like, I saw you just called Boomer Norman. And then I was like, oh, please don't tell him. Could you just not tell him? I was just joking. And the guy's like, Boomer! Hey, Goomy, you just called you Norman. I'll kick his ass. Yeah, okay.
That's all it took?
That's all it took.
But that's how it is back in the school days.
Yeah, it was, simple
You fought over
stuff.
the dumbest things.
Right.